What's up, everyone? Welcome to Peak Workout Nation. Today I have 4 very basic but also very effective beginner tips to help you out with your bench press. Let's get started. So the bench press is probably one of the most popular exercises when it comes to upper body strength. And for good reason. It hits a lot of muscle groups, and while I do feel that sometimes people get too worried about their bench press numbers, it's understandable. You do want to get stronger with them, especially when someone asks you how much you bench. You want to have a good number. Now, of course, this does not mean you should hurt yourself or overdo it, but I definitely have some basic beginner tips to help you out with your journey to increase your bench press numbers. So the first one, and I know this is going to sound silly that I'm even saying this as a tip, but tip number 1 is do bench presses. Now, I know that sounds silly, right? But here's the thing, a lot of people get so worried about getting caught up in accessory work, which, please don't misunderstand me, accessory work is important. We're going to get into that later in this video. But they get so caught up in accessory work that they start ignoring the bench press or find other chest exercises to do. For me, I found when I got most of my gains, I was hitting the bench about twice a week. Not going too crazy with the volume, probably no more than 5 to 7 sets per session, and like I said, twice a week. Tip number 2, make sure that you are positioned properly, okay? You want to make sure that your feet are planted firmly on the ground. You want a slight arch in your back. Some people go a little too extreme with that. As a beginner, I'd say a slight arch, but don't worry about that too much. When you go to lift off the bar, before you lift it off, I found if your eyes are looking directly up at the bar while it's sitting on the rack, that seems to be the best position. And another thing is people sometimes, they think if they go really wide with their grip, they think that it's going to lessen their range of motion, so they're going to bench more. I actually found that's counterproductive. This is me personally, and I also felt it caused more shoulder pain. So for me, I found the best for bench pressing was slightly more than shoulder width, like that. That seemed to be the best position for me. So my third tip is build your strength instead of testing it. And I actually have to give Joe DeFranco, a very popular trainer, credit for that quote because I've heard him say it. But actually, it really is so true. Don't worry about going into the gym and trying to hit your 1 rep max every time you go in there. You're not going to build your best bench press strength that way. And actually, you're just going to chance yourself more for more risk of failure. You know, there's different rep range, experiment with different rep ranges, but for me personally, what I like to do is do 3 work sets with something you could do 7 to 10 reps with, give or take, okay? So if you do that, what you could do is on your first set, I don't like to go to failure, but I like to go maybe 1 rep short of failure, but you know, maybe 7, something you could do at least 7 reps with on your first set, okay? And then whatever you get on your second and third, that's fine. But try to push yourself to get 1 more rep, of course, without hurting yourself every time you go back to the gym. So let's say you work your bench on Monday and you got 7 reps. See if you can. Try to get maybe 8 reps the next time on your first set. But what I would say is when you could get at least 10 reps on your first set and then maybe 7 or 8 on your second and third, then it's time you could go ahead and increase the weight. And make sure you only increase the weight in 2.5 to 5 pound increments at the most. I feel if you do that and then keep going for that goal of getting, you know, 10 on your first and then maybe 7 or 8 on your second and third, keep progressing that way, and I think you will see good results from that. And tip number 4, what I mentioned earlier, is doing your accessory work, okay? You definitely want to do that. A lot of people like to ignore back muscles, and I made a video previously about how bad that's a mistake for many reasons, but you want a strong back too. That's going to help with your bench press, so make sure you're doing, if you can do pull-ups, do your pull-ups, do your lat pull-downs. You also want to strengthen your shoulders and your triceps. I like overhead presses. Steve Shaw, who's very popular, he's got a popular YouTube channel. I actually took something from him because I'm always learning, and I started doing more overhead presses, and that seems to help my bench press a lot. So make sure you're doing your overhead presses when you work your shoulders. For your triceps, make sure you're doing push downs, even close grip bench presses, which work your triceps. That's going to help you out too, but make sure you're doing your accessory work. So I really feel these tips are going to help you with your bench press. Like I said, this is mainly for those of you who are a beginner to intermediate. You're not really sure how to increase your bench press numbers. I really feel this is going to help. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you all for watching. God bless and have a good one.